First of all, we shall explore the perception of work capacity of men and women. Traditional gender norms are perhaps one of the biggest factors influencing men and women's decisions for employment and job opportunities. Some research has pointed out gender stereotypes towards men and women capacity, or in other words, traditional gender norms about men and women's role and values are among the factors which lead to gender inequality in paid jobs. In order to understand people's perception towards the working capacity of men and women, one survey that reflects common gender stereotypes has been conducted. The list includes those statements: men in general working more effectively than women do, men do better than women in jobs that require more technical skills, men are better than women in management work. Women tend to do work that require patience and skills. Workplaces with more women tend to have complicated problems, though are mentioned in the following table. According to the table, it seems that stereotyped attitude toward women's capacity to work are still strong, with all means score higher than the value of one. The indicators show agreement in both men and women groups. This reflects the current reality of female participation in the labor force. Gender stereotypes, which have the highest mean score, are related to the perception that men are better than women at jobs requiring technical skill, and in the perception that women tend to do better with manual work that require patience and skills. Especially more women than men believe that men are better than women in management as well as the efficiency of work. It means that women turn out to have more gender stereotype attitudes than men do. It is probably because women are still not confident in their role capacity. Another factor that explains it are the long-rooted gender norms held by society and people perception. From early childhood, people are conditioned to believe that men work more effectively than women, and women work capability have not entered the public consciousness yet. The result of in-depth interview with people also indicate clear gender stereotype in people thinking. For instance, to answer the question of who is a better leader, many participants share that they think it is better for men to be leader as women are complicated. It can be seen that there are gender stereotypes about women and men employment. If they are not addressed, they will be reinforced and continue to trap women in informal jobs with low incomes.
Gender differences in opportunities for work promotion. In Vietnam, the proportion of women who are engaged in labor is relatively high. Female workers account for nearly 45.6% of Vietnamese workforce, but they are mainly self-employed, hold informal jobs and unstable work. In order to figure out the stereotypes in work promotion, a report carried out by Vietnam Embassy in 2015, which involved more than 8,000 men and women throughout Vietnam, reflects gender differences in work promotion. Women are more disadvantaged when compared to men in both social and political promotion. The results of the survey indicate rather clear gender differences. Men tend to get work promotions or join the party and attend conference workshops more than women. The gap between two genders is most prominent in opportunity for promotion to a higher work position and in opportunity for joining the party. These facts can partly explain by the prejudice and the impact of media related to gender differences in work promotion. Let's figure out some of them. Traditional gender views reveal that men's performance is more productive than that of women at the work, and therefore men's priority in promotion is inevitable. This prejudice has prevailed in society for thousands of years as a result of persistent Confucian ideology in Vietnam. Women must be inferior to men in order to maintain the stability and harmony of the family. As a woman, Their responsibilities should cover the housework as well as the childcare, while men are in charge of working and supporting the family financially. Consequently, the conception that women's capability for work is not enough for promotion compared to those of men has prevailed in people's mind. Even with the same level of education, men still have better opportunities in promotion. Another factor that explains this situation is the influence of media on our culture. There are differences in stereotypical portrayals of men and women in work. Masculinity children's television typically shows male as aggressive, dominant, and engaged in important social and political activities from which they receive rewards from others for their masculine accomplishments. Television programming for all ages disproportionately depicts men as competent, powerful, and in high status positions, while women are portrayed that they devote their primary energies to improving their appearances and taking care of homes and people. As a result, it is common to see the masculine political figures appearing in mass media, but lack the appearance of women as important figures. Because media pervade our lives, the ways they misrepresent genders may distort how we see ourselves and what we perceive as normal and desirable for men and women, leading to the popularity of gender inequality in work promotion.
Gender attitudes in the division of family labor in Vietnam. The persistent existence of Confucian ideology in Vietnamese society is the root cause to maintain and reinforce the view of gender roles in society. Traditional gender views hold that the roles of men and women in the family are not equal. Men often play the role of family decision maker and breadwinner, while women play the role of mother and housewife. On the contrary, the new gender stance recognizes that the roles of spouses are equal. Let's look at the labor division in the household regarding housework and childcare, considering the contribution of cultural and social factors. Number 1. Housework. Examining how women and men perceive their responsibilities in the division of housework. In 2010, Vietnamese men only participate in about 20% of the housework. The above data indicate that Vietnamese women still have to undertake the housework, while the participation of men is very little. Although Vietnamese men are aware that women are getting busier and harder to take care of the family and complete the paid work at the same time, they still do not approve of the fact that women spend most of their time at work and let the maids take care of the family completely. They believe that no matter how successful a woman is, they cannot neglect their family if they want a happy and peaceful family. More interestingly, the female model, giỏi việc nước đảm việc nhà, that means they have to take 3 roles, a mother, a wife, and an exemplary worker, is propagandized and advocated by the Vietnam Women's Union, an organization representing the rights and interests of Vietnamese women. The movement, Phụ nữ ba sẵn sàng ba đảm đang or giỏi việc nước đảm việc nhà, has created deeper gender prejudices, putting more burdens on women, challenging them with higher standards. On the contrary, men's roles in campaigns on family preservation and development and gender equality in Vietnam are very weak. Number 2. Children care. Compared to chores, Vietnamese men are more involved in caring and raising children. However, the level of participation varies among children's ages and levels of education. For example, at the preschool age, parents often take care of their children's physical and personality development. So at this stage, they think that women should play a major and important role because society always thinks that women should be the main housewife and take care of the family. They are more skillful than men in cooking and taking care of the children's physical development. But when entering school age, men are more involved in caring for the development of knowledge for children than women. Because Confucianism always thinks that men have more intelligence than women. Men are the appropriate choice in mentoring children to study to achieve higher academic results. In fact, in the education and raising of children, the gender roles of parents are equally important. However, due to the influence of Confucian ideology, there still exists prejudice about the role of parents in the care and raising of children, where the roles are not mutually reinforcing, invisibly creating the inequality between husband and wife. In summary, despite significant changes in men's role as the breadwinner of the family, as well as their more active participation in the care of children, gender role prejudices still exist quite persistently in Vietnamese society.
In this part, our work wants to show you the current situation of sexism in Vietnam and its reasons presented by the inequality in political and social participation. First of all, let's see the comparison in the Communist Party membership. Apparently, there are fewer female members in the Communist Party than male members. According to the General Statistic Office of Vietnam, the proportion of female members in the Communist Party is currently 32%. The proportion of women elected to the party's committees is even lower, at about 10% in the 2011 to 2015 term. For years, these members, as well as the rate of women holding leadership positions in the communist organization at all levels, have been low. The highest positions for women in Vietnamese government now are the chairwoman of the National Committee of Vietnam by Mrs. Nguyễn Thị Kim Ngân and Vice President by Mrs. Đặng Thị Ngọc Thịnh. In addition, men have more opportunities to assume leadership positions in the party organization than women. Almost all highest positions in the government belong to men. The first reason leading to sexism is the prejudice towards women. People tend to think that men are more capable than women. For example, as soon as people see the middle name Thị, a typical middle name for most women, in the candidate's name, they will strike through. People in communities tend to encourage women to participate in the local government less. They don't believe that women can cope with both duties. That is a limitation and a disadvantage for women compared to men if they have the same starting point. In addition, people don't trust young women as capable of being leaders. In general, people trust women less than men, not only young women. Even if there's a young talented woman, she must jump through hoops for years before being promoted. It is widely perceived that women's major responsibility is to take care of their family, hence they do not have time to devote to the commune's work. Therefore, they have to play their reproductive role of pregnancy and giving birth, which slows down their career progress in relation to men's. The second one is although male and female candidates are equally capable, electors give their preference to men. Some women even strike through themselves when she was the only female candidate among the candidates to the Communist Party committee. Their mindset is men are better leaders because they have more capacity, better health, and can devote more time for work than women. In the meantime, women are supposed to devote time and energy to their family instead of their career. Men are considered homemakers who are responsible for making important decisions and earning money. All in all, gender prejudice concerning women's role in the family is the main barrier hindering women's participation in the local government.
Specific tools and measures for addressing sexism and sexist behavior in some targeted areas, such as language and communication, media, education, and private sphere, can be taken to reduce sexism. Now let's have a closer look at these areas. First, language and communication. Our language shapes our thoughts, and the way we think influences our action. We say things like, take it like a man or man up when we're describing courage and toughness, but phrases like, don't be such a ghost, are used to insult and draw comparison between being feminine and weak. Or sexist languages stereotyping men, like businessman, tradesman, or policeman. And language stereotyping women like housewife, maid, cleaning lady, or waitress. Gender-applied or discriminatory language reinforces sexist attitudes and behavior. So how to prevent it? Use both the feminine and the masculine when expressing a mixed audience. Use non-sexist language. For example, we can say business person instead of business man, police officer instead of policeman, and so on. Review public communication to make sure it doesn't use gender-sensitive language and sexist language. Produce manuals on gender-sensitive communication for different audiences. Media. Children and others are bombarded with sexist media messages and influenced by them. They give the impression that men are the keepers of knowledge and power. Such messages limit their own occupational choices in life. So what can we do to cope with it? Implement legislation on gender equality in the media. Train media and communication professionals on gender equalities. Ensure that women and men are represented in a balanced way and in diverse, non-stereotypical roles in the media. Promote advertisements that play with and raise awareness of gender stereotypes rather than reinforce them. Provide digital literacy training especially for young people and children. Legally define and criminalize sexist hate speech. Put in place specialized services to provide advice on how to deal with online sexism. Education. Policies and legislation on gender equality should be implemented in education. Review textbooks to ensure that they are free of sexism and that they depict women as well as men in non-stereotypical roles. Ensure the representation of women as scientists, artists, athletes, leaders, and politicians in textbooks and programs. Ensure the availability of complaint mechanism. Teach gender equality issues as well as sexuality education, including consent and personal boundaries. Train education professionals on unconscious bias. Private sphere. Awareness-raising measures and research on the impact and the sharing of unpaid work between women and men should be taken. Measures for reconciling private and working life for all. Moreover, we should encourage boys as well as girls to participate in household tasks. It is necessary to strengthen communication on gender equality in the family and society in order to reduce the influence of confusion in the division of household labor, and there should be projects on the modern man in housework and childcare to train attitude toward gender roles in the Vietnamese family. Childcare and housework support services should be promoted to reduce the burden and give women a chance to develop well in both the family and society.